How late are we? What's the time?
1:10.
Okay. Not even setting a record.
I'll call you on video call, right?
I'll tell her to text me. All right. Oh. Adam. Hey, can you keep an eye out for Uber? They're bringing the pastries and coffee. Thanks, bro. They should come in, but sometimes they just stand there staring at the door.
Yeah, you're like a ham, bro. Everybody see you talking. What do you think, dude?
I get a good Wi-Fi when I'm running.
Just weird.
I'll go over there.
You're like that dude with the, he's like a ham. He's a microphone. That's like,
Don't drink my water. Did you get your coffee?
Yes, I did.
Yeah. Was he here for the coffee? Did you want
This
coffee?
is Ruben, by the way.
How are you, Ruben?
that's what you
I've heard mostly good things about you.
That's good. It's good. Sometimes it's bad things.
Depends on the time of the day and
Yeah, right. So far, so good. All it takes one thing to go wrong, and then it's a disaster.
yep, and then all the lawyer jokes come out and
He didn't come in empty-handed.
he didn't, yeah.
6-1 on the pizza.
This guy Eddie knows some great lawyer jokes, just FYI.
I love Lord jokes.
He's not your typical lawyer.
All right. Okay.
We love Lord jokes.
Let's see. I really hope I don't fall, but
Maybe lawyers for you.
and hopefully this is not too bad of a look here.
That's a nice chair.
It is a nice chair. I've never been able to take advantage of it like this. Hopefully this isn't too bad of a look, but it's a pretty chill meetup today. If somebody can pop open, well, everybody went to one side today, so I don't even need to go this. Igor, look.
Okay.
Americans, Russians.
Say America, Russia. No. No. You're good. Just playing. I don't know what happened.
Need a Trump visa.
Could you not see past him?
Right or no? He was too tall.
Too tall in the front. Igor, you going to trafficking? You going to Craft and Commerce conference?
Well, there's
What's
your
that?
for next week. Yes.
Thursday.
Perfect.
Idaho. Thursday, Friday, Saturday. 9 a.m. But close to California. Long walk. Okay, so it's a pretty chill meetup today. Very different topic. It's been a bit since we've gone to a conference as a group. So what we like to do to make the most of these conferences when we do it is to, oh God, Candace is surrounded by bad influences back there.
Good thing I don't give in to peer pressure.
Thank God for that.
Yes.
We like to do a pre-conference meetup so we can talk about like what goals could be. If you're not going to the conference, a lot of these tactics, if you will, apply to any conference or trade show that you might go to. So there's that. And then usually when we return, we bring back takeaways. So that's a way for those of us that went to sort of debrief and like, what are we actually going to be working on from this thing that we just took time out and money out of our lives to go learn. And for people that can't go, it's a way for them to get up to speed with what they might have missed. Or we come back sometimes and say that was the worst thing we have ever attended in our life, and we do not recommend ever attending again. And unfortunately, we can never get that time back. There's not many of the latter, but when we do these pre-conference events, and that's what we're doing now, because what time we leave, Wednesday or Thursday?
Wednesday morning early.
We leave very early Wednesday morning. We return Sunday. So obviously next Saturday's meetup is not here. It's in Boise, Idaho. So we'll do a meetup. I've never met an Amazon seller from Boise. I'm sure they exist, but we'll do something there even if it's just us. It'll be in the hotel, Tom. In the hotel lobby.
It is. Okay.
Yeah. Tom is really known for finding the hot spots anywhere we go. Good hot spots, to be fair. I'm just very boring and I don't like to leave the hotel. True statement.
100%. You go to Las Vegas, he'll stay in a hotel the entire time. The
And
the hotel of
eat the
event.
wings in the lobby the whole time, and be in bed at 7:30. So, but we're going to do that. So if you're coming here on Saturday, there's no one's going to be here. You might not be able to get in. I'll make some other announcements since I know 11 years soon of doing this, you can get into a habit of just showing up. Some of you, like Bruce, come down from Central Florida. So I'd hate for him to make the drive and nobody be here. We have a beginner hour, which we're going to start with. And in the beginner hour, we talk about any questions that anyone has about selling on Amazon. I know a lot of you are not beginners. So in the event that the few beginners we have here don't feel brave enough to ask a question, any questions that come up, we'll take them. I'm just going to prioritize beginner questions from 1 to 2, and then at 2 to 3:30, we'll go into the topics of the week, which is going to be that topic. I'll also share in the beginner hour some things that I think are worth paying attention to, and you're open to share the same that I think is worth paying attention to that have just come up since our last meetup, or that have developed more since our last meetup. And what else? Sponsors. So that's good that the snacks came in. We have some pastries and some pastelitos and some coffee, water, all that. Help yourself to it. Little housekeeping since I see some new faces. The bathrooms are right there. Obviously, feel free to get up and use the bathroom. If you have to take a call, feel free to step out, take the call, and come back in. You'll see me looking at this camera sometimes. We have a live stream. Those cubes that are in front of you, those squishy cubes, those are mics. And it's because if you're watching this via the live stream, it becomes really weird just hearing me give the answers to questions you didn't hear. But nobody can see you. So you're not on video. The camera's facing this way and only this way.
Are they live all the time?
They are. They're live at all times. Well, as long as there's an active stream going on that they're a device on. So like they're live. When you toss them to someone, they cut off in the air. They're like smart mics in some way. Yeah. It's probably 2 different drivers. Yeah, that's the coffee. So the coffee got here, but the pastelitos are coming. As a matter of fact, I'll tell you right now where it's at. Shows it will be here in 4 minutes, the pastries. So I've hosted over 1,600 meetups in the last 11 years. They're free meetups. And a hard thing about scaling free is it makes zero economical sense to do it. My wife would not allow me to do this if I could not have come up with a way to make it make some economical sense. Hence, sponsors. We've been able to partner up with some really good sponsors over the years. We say no to more sponsors we say yes to, which allows us to not sell our soul just to stay open. And they're the ones that allow us to have this regular coffee and pastries, the location, and a lot more of the stuff that we do. If you're watching this on the stream, you'll see a ticker on the bottom. Well, actually, you might see this ticker as well at some point. That's gonna, let me show that. A ticker right here at the bottom, which mentions a lot of our sponsors. If you're working with someone already, I'm not saying that you should drop them to go check out one of our sponsors. I know how difficult, how painful the migration process can be, switching out tools in your tool stack. What I will say is at least if you see them at a trade show or a conference, take a picture with them, thank them for this and what they've allowed us to put together and do. They're good people. And it really is nice collaborating with them and allowing us to put something like this together, which doesn't exist anywhere else in the world. If anyone here has attended it's not meant to be tooting my horn or anything, it's all of us, but you won't find anything else like this anywhere else, like in any topic. And if you do, it's maybe like a 3 meetup thing, 3 sessions that lead to a sales pitch. or something like that. So it really does take a lot of unique ingredients to be able to pull something like this off, including a wife that will allow me to give up 11 years of Saturdays. So it takes a lot of cool stuff. So thank the sponsors if you see them at any of these events. I use almost all of them, and if I don't use one and they're a sponsor, then I structured something with them to say, hey, before this can happen, I need you to work directly with these 3 people, and then they need to be able to give me feedback on all this stuff. So like myself or somebody close to me has worked with them. Our podcast, Wizards of Ecom, we have one in English and one in Spanish. Would love a review. I've been seeing those reviews come in from some of you, so I'm going to keep asking if you're going to keep giving them. Unlike Amazon, I can ask you for a 5-star review. I would love a 5-star review on our podcast. It helps a lot in the algorithm. And the people that know how to game the algorithm and get a bunch of fake 5 stars, they get a lot more exposure. I would love honest feedback from you on the show, but I would also like a 5-star review. Yeah.
When you get a chance, can you post somewhere the Google review link? Because I couldn't find it.
That's a good one. Yeah, thank you. I forget to do that, and I should do that.
Do you want me to remind you?
Yes, please. That would
Where
help a lot.
in WhatsApp?
WhatsApp, yeah,
Okay,
WhatsApp
I'll
me.
send it.
And I'll post it out to everyone. But yeah, that would help a lot.
Okay.
We should have a lot more reviews than we have, and that's on me, you know. So thank you, Candace. If somebody can open up the Wizards of Ecom YouTube, you're not going to be here. If you can, Adam, open up the Wizards of Ecom YouTube so you can see any questions that come in from the stream, and you can ask me, and then I can answer them on their behalf. Also, if anyone's like claiming there's an audio issue, I'm not going to know unless somebody's looking at the stream. All right, I think announcement-wise, I think pay attention to the meetups, the events. In August, we have our annual Grill and Chill picnic. If you've not attended it, if you want to attend it, I have fingers crossed that we're going to have a slinky stove out there for this one. We're at Indian Hammocks. We're at Indian Hammocks, Pavilion 5. It's Pavilion 3 or 5. Look at the event. But it's the same pavilion we meet at every year. It is really, really hot, but we have a lot of shade and we have a really big pavilion. This celebrates our annual anniversary, as well as a way for everyone to people's family and friends and kids. You're always invited, but most of the time you don't want to bring them because they might be distracting. On this one, I encourage it more. It's free to attend. We bring some really good brisket. Over the years, it's changed from who. We used to work with Pig Floyd for a while, and then as much as I love their stuff, they seem to have imploded. Then we did La Traila Barbecue for a few years at Miami Lakes. They were fantastic. Like really, really good. And then last year we did Hate Mondays, and everybody loved it. But as of right now, we're going back with Hate Mondays, but I bring in the brisket, I bring in some sausage, some chicken, all like the main stuff. You don't have to bring anything, just you, your family, an appetite. And I think Bruce actually, it was last year. Bruce's first event was the picnic. Sometimes you see some people show up just for the first event and you're like, he's coming out for some free food and he's never gonna see this guy again. Not Bruce. But it is a really good event. I'm biased, like ask other people in the group, it's really good. If you're gonna be the type of person that says, I'm not showing up empty-handed, water and ice. It helps a bunch if you bring water and ice, but if you have a dessert, or Igor actually brings some, you brought really good drinks that were, right? No, they didn't. Well, a lot of extra stuff went to the trash, but you brought the Russian, it was like Russian Coca-Cola and, what is it? Kvass. Yeah, brought a lot of good stuff, but if you have like a recipe that you like, or some chips or some pastry specific thing that you like, just bring it. Water's always a pain. Oh, what's up, man? You gotta say hi. Damn, it's a long time. Welcome, man. Good. Water's always a big help, but we'll be out there depending on how soon I can pick up the stuff pick up the food. It's usually around 9 a.m. I pull up around 9:30, but we have the pavilion from 9 to 5 or like 9 to 6. The pavilion next to us for the first year, not our pavilion, pavilion next to us is gonna be by Salsa Kings. I'd like ours to look a lot more festive than theirs, which is a tall order with a salsa scene. But between Andres and I, we're also going to be bringing in some extra tents. So there's extra areas with shade. So it's going to be a lot better this year, in short. So that event is already announced on Meetup. Just register, it's free. It helps me get a good idea of like the number of forks and everything I need to bring. If not, just show up. Okay.
August 9th, right? August 9th?
Could we bring the dog if we want?
100%. I mean, I don't know what the issue is at the park with the dog. I've seen people bring the dog. There's never been any issues.
Okay.
I assume when somebody asks that it's a very friendly dog, and you know all that. I love dogs, but I think I read somewhere that the park has like some no dog
look.
policy.
If
But
I'll check.
I've seen dogs there, and I've never seen someone say it. I hate it for the first year. They enforce it, and then
Cat's okay?
always anywhere.
Wait, what's the name of the
It's not
park
like they're gonna
again?
catch 'em.
Hammock, what?
Indian hammocks, Kendall Indian hammocks. Yeah, it's on it's like right off Kendall and 107.
Okay.
Yeah.
I wonder if
What was your?
it's August 9th, right? Is that?
Yeah, I don't have it by memory, but it's on the Meetup. I believe that sounds right. August 9th, August 11th, or something.
Yeah, August 9th.
Okay. So we got about 30 minutes left in the beginner hour. Does anyone have any questions? Again, I would really
3 months.
emphasize. I'll really prioritize any beginner questions that get asked. No? Anything from the stream, question-wise, Adam? Or while you're going to go pick that up? We've met before, yes? I feel like we have. Que yo te conozco de antes, ¿verdad?
Tal vez no tenemos tanto, yo no conozco.
Okay. Okay. For you, it's been years since we've seen each other. The last time I think I saw you in person, we went to China. We went to China in 2018. This is right? And ironically, the last time I saw you, we were at, so 2018, 7, that was our 4-year anniversary, because we sat down at Cabo Flats in Dolphin Mall. Yeah, no, that's the memory serving me. It's good. That workout this morning helped. And what was your name again? Christian, that's right. So that last time I saw Christian was at our he's been a long time member, hasn't attended in a while, but we'll get to that. Was at our 4-year anniversary of the Meetup, and we're about to have our 11-year anniversary. And the anniversary was actually right before we were all heading to China as a group. And we had a good time. We had a very good time. Yeah. Yeah. Well, not since COVID. But yeah.
Can I ask you a question?
Yes.
This has to do with Amazon, right? And I know like a lot of your viewers probably may come across where they start selling with one company and then they have a trademark and then they transfer. Then somehow they want another company to use that trademark, but when they have filed for that trademark with company A, somehow they try to go to their store and use another company to do the store, and they can't figure out why the trademark doesn't work. Have you done that before?
Yeah. So I feel like I'm almost positive I know what you're saying, but I want to just like break it down because it'll matter when it comes to solving it. So, and if one of the companies is his, we could use his as a placeholder if that works.
No, it's not his company.
Okay. So company A has a trademark,
They file
and
for
they
trademark.
decide to sell on Amazon.
Correct.
And when they go to Amazon, they have associated or connected their business, their seller account, and the trademark to where they're able to use it on Amazon. Correct so far?
No, they actually apply with a different company, with the company that they decide that it's going to be their seller, but now they can't understand why they can't use that trademark.
Okay, so let me walk it back again. So company A has a trademark,
Yeah.
a fully registered trademark.
Application. application, because you know Amazon lets
It's
you
not
apply.
registered.
No, Amazon lets you apply with the application number.
Okay, so, but it's not fully registered,
Not
it's
yet,
through
not
Brand
yet.
Accelerator.
Yeah, it's an intent to use.
Right, okay. So Company A has one that they're processing. It's in process. Has Company A created an Amazon brand registry account?
No, that when they apply the brand registry account, Company A somehow decides that Company B, their other company, is gonna do the account,
Okay,
and somehow they're gonna try to connect this trademark that doesn't belong to them. So when Amazon calls, Amazon's never gonna call.
right. So what needs to happen is Company A needs to get fully registered in brand registry. Right. Once they are, if they decide that they want to allow Company B to be the account on Amazon that is selling and using that trademark, they need to get an email, preferably a domain email, from Company B and add it into their brand registry and make sure that email is the master email in Company B's Amazon seller account. And then when Company B goes in, it should automatically allow them to utilize everything they need to use through brand registry, hence the trademark. And if it doesn't, they just need to now show, like the next step, if it ever gets to that, which is not that often, is because they're either gonna say, you either have access to it, or they're gonna say, you're gonna have access within 2 weeks and you do. Or the final one is, they're gonna say, we need something from a company letterhead from Company A saying this, and then with that, and that their email, that is the master email for the seller account on Company B, is in Company A's brand registry, they have it. That's it. But that's the way it's able to be.
What happens if Company B, because this guy is not gonna get this. Company B has this Amazon seller account, right? And how does Company A get that trademark? Well, let's say Company A transfers the trademark to Company B, right? Now, initially the application was with Company A, now it's been assigned to Company B. How does this guy now, Company B, say, hey, that's now my trademark?
Did you change it on the USPTO?
So they won't have to fully, right, so it won't fully have to do it. So what happens is brand registry, it's not a seller account. So Company A a lot of these changes can't happen until something is finalized. So if Company A doesn't have brand registry finalized for them,
Yeah.
then nothing can be moved because there's nothing to move.
But that's what I mean, but brand registry, what happens is, because I'm the lawyer who's gonna get that phone call. And what happens is when you do your brand registry, right? What happens is the brand registry looks at that, who owns the trademark?
Yeah.
And then they find a lawyer and they send it to them.
Yeah.
But this guy's trying to open an account with Company B on registry, but the brand itself doesn't belong to him. Now, this is the problem, and hopefully this will help a lot of people here. When you file for a trademark as intent to use, you cannot make that a registration. You can't transfer that until it's an actual use trademark. So this is the problem this guy has. He has an intent to use a trademark. He has to show that he's selling under that trademark for it to be accepted, right? To be able to transfer it. He cannot transfer because it's intent to use.
Right. So what I do, and I know this is probably illegal at some level or whatever, but like I've had so many headaches with intent to use because of what you're saying, that what I do is, like, let's say I'm getting the last time I did this, I was getting a trademark for a brand, I think it was called Dos Caballos Cigars, and it was a humidor brand that we've since exited. And it was for a wooden humidor. I was still a year out from that humidor being ready to sell.
Yeah.
So I got a tiny mini humidor from Etsy,
Yeah.
listed it on my website, showed that they're not asking what's the specific model of humidor that I plan on selling.
No,
They just want
they
to show a
don't do
humidor. Right. I run a transaction through so I can show that I had a transaction. I ship it to someone. I go through all that so that I have it. I can totally
You could
respect.
do it, you could do it, but you gotta sell.
But now I have something that's not an intent, it's in use.
Sell at least 4 items though.
Huh?
Sell at least 4 items, I think, 4 or 5 items, so, not one.
Yeah, well, I've never needed to go more than that. I just showed that and I was fine. But I would run as many and I would just put in use.
But
To-
that's great advice, because that's the easiest way to overcome.
I got tired of the headaches and I'm just like, I'm not playing this game. Like, and I
And
just
then
go.
you can transfer it.
Right, and then I just go straight in use. Otherwise, you're gonna have to show, I would say now, just put it in use. And then the biggest hurdle is gonna be out of the way. And then like, they wanna see packaging, and I'm like, okay, I can get some packaging printed out.
Trademark doesn't care about that, but what they don't wanna see is Photoshop.
Right,
They don't wanna see Photoshop. You can go to your minimum press, hey, make me a box, give me 5 boxes.
yeah, we would go to Riverside Paper Co. and we would get a box printed out, and
Correct.
we'd have real pictures of the box printed out. We'd have they're not judging us on the quality of our box and the quality of our logo or anything like that. We just gotta show it.
It could even be a sticker.
100%. That's what we would do. That's what we would do as a sticker.
Huh?
That's what we would do, exactly, as a sticker.
Yeah.
So I dealt with that like in-use thing once, and I'm like, this is a cluster, you know what? Like, I'm not doing that again, and I just went in use. And then people would beat me up and say that it's illegal, and I'm like,
No, it's not illegal.
I'm just
'Cause
like,
you sold it in commerce. You sold it in commerce.
what
You
feels
shipped
illegal
it.
is me going out of business because of this stupid in-use thing.
You're correct.
Yeah,
Because you can't transfer it.
Right.
You can't transfer that mark until you use it. So then a lot of people get caught up in this, and they're 2 years trying to get this prototype. I'm like, bro, come on, get creative, huh?
yeah. What kind of law do you do, or?
I'm a patent trademark lawyer.
Oh.
Yeah, so but the reason I ask is because I think it'll help all the guys watching you, and but I also wanted to know how this guy's going to resolve this issue, because he called me like, look, I go to him, I'm not your Amazon registry, I'm not your, I'm not the one, I'm an attorney, I'm not the one processing your work here,
Right.
the registry, right? And so I was trying to figure out how he's got to do it. He's got to the guy he's paying, his professional, has to be able to solve this issue.
Right.
And the issue is easy to solve, as you just said. All you
Yeah.
gotta do is sell products. Don't wait for the prototype. Sell it to your next door neighbor. I don't
See, but
care.
what's happened a lot, at least in the Amazon world, is a lot of these courses and stuff that have been created. Not all of them. I mean, there's some good guys out there that have created it. Let me say this. I'm a little biased. A little pet peeve of mine is I feel like there's a really high failure rate in business, right? And there's I'd say a higher failure rate in the Amazon business. Like, there's a lot of things that you don't realize that come up that seem very good in the beginning. But what happens is, in the process of deciding I'm going to start an Amazon business and failing in the Amazon business, you learn some stuff. And that stuff you learn is pretty unique information that most people don't know. So even though you failed, you're smarter than the average bear when it comes to talking about Amazon. So what do? You just put in 6 to 8 months and you failed something, you probably have some debt. Let me create a course.
Gotcha.
So you have a really, really large percentage of people that will create agencies, sell services, sell courses that don't have any idea what they're doing. And since they never got to that stage, they don't know the problems or the obstacles. They don't know the obstacles that exist because of in-use. I'm sorry, intent to use versus in use. So you have no way of discovering the workaround. So you have a lot of people actually that are in that position that are with this intent to use.
Yeah, they drown in a half glass of water. It's like you said. Solution's easy.
Right.
Create an eBay account, post 4 things, 4 pictures, sell them, you're done.
Or go to Alibaba, find a product that's selling for $5. Look, on Amazon it's selling for $15. 100% profit. That's not how that works. So like, some of them are just malicious. Some of them are just like bad people.
Yeah.
But some of them, they really don't know. Like, they just unfortunately failed at something, and with the best of intentions, they're trying to succeed, and they're limited in the information that they can share. Unfortunately, one of my blessings is I have failed a lot. Okay, I've touched the stove a lot. And I say, okay, I'm not gonna quit, but I want to learn from that. I don't want to get burned again. And I've accumulated a bunch over the last 16 years. But yeah, no, that's powerful. And then throw in the mix that you have the law, and then you have Amazon, and they just have this whole weird system of their own. Like in some cases, they seem to go above, like what they're doing now with supplements. But yeah, anyhow, I'm gonna get passionate there.
Sounds like you could have a course just on another podcast.
There is. Well, you know what? There's not. I can only tell you one in the Amazon space. One lawyer that I'm like, you've heard all the lawyer jokes. Lawyers are needed, and when I need them, I love them. But outside of it, I hate the hourly rate. I hate how much a delay costs me. I hate that. I hate that part of it, which you've heard. But there's one, this guy's name, Rich Goldstein. I would connect you guys. It sounds like you guys are into the same area, but guy's a great guy, like referral. But everybody else, I think they've been crooks. Like they've been crooks. And then the one that I go to for my patents over the years, and I don't go to trademarks anymore, it just doesn't make sense for me to do it, is Malloy in the roads. But even then, I love when it goes through. I love when I win defending it. I hate the bill.
They're very expensive.
You know? Going in there for a patent thing and 3 lawyers in there, and this one's an engineer and a lawyer, and I'm like, oh my God. But no, it's the waters we're in.
He's gonna change your perspective.
No.
I love it.
No,
For him.
he's got his firms.
He hasn't sampled the pastelitos yet, so I don't know. If he doesn't eat pastelito, I don't know if we can trust him.
We can,
I'll take you drinking. I'm gonna get the carbs, let's do it the other way.
No. I'm not eating them either, right? I'm trying. My trainer killed me this morning in the gym, back and chest. I don't think those things should be done on the same day. What else do we got questions-wise? We still have like another 17 minutes in the beginner hour. I'm gonna throw one out there if nobody has a question. I brought this up about 4 weeks ago. And I'm gonna preface this by saying AI is giving me a royal headache, right? Either I see something with all AI, I'm just saying AI in general, I see something in AI and it's like, there goes 3 hours of my day down a rabbit hole of what ifs. Or, you know, as a content creator or somebody that, you know, manages a lot of ad spend, you see somebody popping up posting these gains and they're like, anybody that is manually looking at their ad spend is losing you money. And it's like, am I losing people money? Because I'm not using all AI, and then, you know, there goes 3 weeks of testing. And then the content creator, you have people that are just like, you're wasting your time creating content. All you gotta use is AI. So like AI gives me stress. Because amongst all that, I try to stay as current as possible or ahead of the curve, not just to come in here and repeat stuff that you already know, but as Tom gave a good analogy, not where the puck is at, but to try to guide everybody here as best I can to where the puck is going to be, because that's where the money's at in business. And with AI, the rate of change that has been happening, for the first time I find myself in a position where I'm just like, it's just not possible. I don't know where the AI stuff's going to be in 6 months, and in my experience, I could tell you, you should not have it write your listing yet, maybe. And if you just think you can turn AI on for ad spend, I wish you the best of luck. Currently, that's not the way to do it. And even though I manage a lot of ad spend, so I might be biased, I'm also a seller. So like, I would really love that, like being able to do that on the seller side with AI. But there is something within the AI world right now that I think I feel really confident that we should be looking at. And I don't see this is going to change. It's a bit alarming. And that has to do with, currently it's ChatGPT that's doing this. And I think that's unless you're really deep into AI and somebody's like, what's the first word you think of when you hear AI? It's ChatGPT. And that is, I guess I would call it AI selling. And I don't know if you guys have seen it yet, but OpenAI, ChatGPT, and I was invited into some of these betas, so I'm seeing the back end, I'm seeing some of this stuff before it comes out. It's not half-baked stuff. It looks better than Amazon. Is they're directly integrating with Shopify. And what's happening is you know how Amazon's touting Rufus as like your AI selling assistant? And if you're a buyer and you've been messing around with Rufus, it's a fantastic experience. It's really good.
How do you like even like,
Engage with it once.
What do you do? Just say hi, Rufus?
Like if you're, the next time you're shopping for something, assuming it's not something as basic as the toilet paper, which you know you're gonna get your same brand and you get the same. The next time you're shopping for something like,
a vitamin, I'm not sure.
Sure. Just ask it
Like
something.
what kind of vitamin?
Say the last one I took gave me a little bit of antacid, or the last one I took, my friend said had a high sugar content. Just have a conversation. There's no magic
I'll do
prompt.
it.
Just have a conversation. It has access to your whole buyer history, right? And that's ridiculously powerful information.
Yeah.
So like, this is really, really good.
Well, I've also noticed in the past when it's like once in a while if you buy like a T-shirt or something, like I buy stuff for my boyfriend. Oh, based on your history, you would be best in a small. Is it like kind of going into that vein?
Yeah, but that would be just scratching the surface. This is like you want to buy a new piece of furniture.
Yeah.
Say you want your TV to set on a piece of furniture, and it immediately lets you know, like, when my kids were a little smaller, not that long ago, we had to baby-proof the house. So we needed to put these things on the corners and these latches that allowed the kids to not pull out the drawers. It could immediately let us know, just so you know that the baby-proofing stuff you bought's not compatible with this one.
Oh, wow.
Right.
That's great.
And you want to buy this one, that's nice. Would you like to see what the TV you bought would look like on this in augmented reality?
Thanks, Carlos. I know what I'm doing tonight.
Right, but it's scary. Like it's a really good shopping experience. But what's happening now is more and more people are searching, less on Google, still a lot, but more on AI. They're serving up what you want to buy in a very, very sexy looking way inside the AI feed. So you could fully check out right there within ChatGPT right now. I think that is going to be very disruptive.
I was going to say, but like, what happens when someone's paying for Google ads?
Sounds like a problem Google's going to have. Now, mind you, Google's not, right now this is ChatGPT doing this. I would be shocked if everyone was not doing this.
But my question is, like, say someone's paying for a Google ad for something, and do you think that this is taking away from someone's, like, sets of eyes on what?
On Google?
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah, but Google's got Gemini.
Yeah,
Gemini works
and
as
I think
well or better than
Gemini is going to
ChatGPT.
pull past.
Oh, you do?
If it has not already, we're enterprise level Google suite.
Gemini doesn't hallucinate as much.
No, nowhere near as much. Like
Doesn't what as much?
hallucinate. Like
What do you mean?
when you have your first, maybe if this isn't what you're saying, you say, but like once you start a conversation with them, the first two, you give it some information, it responds, give it some information, it responds, and say like 6 exchanges later, it's not really grasping what it said up here as much, and now it's just inserting what it thinks, these hallucinations.
That's one thing, but the reality is what happens is if you trust it with like numbers or all these things are as good as the content you upload to it. So you have to not just ask it a question. If you want a better answer, you upload also references to it. Say, hey, I want to buy something, a baby thing, stroller for my kid. This is the kind I want. This is what I'm looking for. Here's a couple attachments. Now you've given it references. You're stopping it from hallucinating because you're saying, this is what it is. How do you make this better?
Yeah.
But if you don't give it, if you just ask a question, then that's when the hallucinations come where it starts giving you answers. And sometimes it's right, but with ChatGPT, be very careful with numbers. They're always wrong. And And the more information you give it, the better it is. But that's what a hallucination is.
Yeah.
While Gemini is more, remember ChatGPT is always like 2 years back. Gemini is up to date.
Right.
So if you do the search in Gemini, what products are here, odds are Gemini is using your Google Ads.
Yeah.
So that your money, if you want to see, Gemini would actually base it on the products that it's actually, people are paying to advertise.
Yeah, my opinion is that Gemini is already past ChatGPT.
You like it better.
Yeah.
It's more complete.
Yeah.
It's more complete.
But
up to date.
ironically, if I was to pop open an AI right here to kind of show an example for something AI, I would probably pop open ChatGPT because it's more like what everybody uses. And the way I use Gemini mostly now is with the team. And it's how, like, what it could do collectively as a team and how we can tie into our docs and our drive and our slides and like everything we do with Google Suite. It's almost like the HubSpot for us, like everything in one system.
Now, I'll give you, in the real life world, because I do pay for Google Ads, and with Gemini, if you say I need a lawyer in such and such an area, they will get you the lawyer, but they're gonna get the lawyers paying the biggest amount of money up. These are the reputable firms. What makes you reputable? Money. Very simple, So, because I've wondered, how do you picking up 3-4 lawyers when I've never heard these law firms actually practicing law in this town, in this city?
Yeah.
That's because they're already connecting the revenue. They're called, what are they called, the business partners or something? You got the ads, Google Ads, and then you have, you got the Google network, and then you got the other network next to it, right? The partners.
Yeah, the partner network.
Well, Gemini is a partner network, so that's the way it's going to work. So yeah. But that costs a lot of money. Now you're not paying $3,000. Now you're paying $6,000.
Right.
And you're getting 1,000 hits, and half of them don't work.
Yeah, so
Okay?
100% people are using AI more. 100% people, different AIs, but the 100%, I don't think anyone debates that. That's going to continue happening. And 100% people are not going to stop shopping. And if someone can create a seamless, great experience within AI for shopping, like, people are going to buy there. It makes sense that Shopify would be the first one that they integrated with. I wonder, well, I won't nerd out too much about this. I think you guys should pay attention. I think you should look up, just start and get the ball rolling. Look up ChatGPT, Shopify, shopping within AI, and just pay attention to. And if you want to get good on some Google AI at the same time, use something called Notebook LM and create a little notebook.
What's Notebook LM? Is it like
It's I like to refer to it as a hallucination-free workplace, and it's where I'll go to and I'll just grab all my medical. Like Eddie and I have been like on a medical kick. We didn't even before we like officially met, and we've got like blood work and all this biohacking and all this stuff we've been doing. I get this, and like I go see different doctors and stuff like that, but they don't know what's going on, and they're prescribing me things absent a lot of information. I could just stick all that in Notebook LM, and then I could also say I like the carnivore diet. I could go grab like 2 different people I know that I think are the best on carnivore diet, and I could feed their information into that. And I say, based on this and my blood work and my stuff and what I take and carnivore diet, what do you, and then I have the AI that way specifically tailored for me, and it can't pull anything else. I showed the diet to the doctor dietitian that I had just paid like $800 for, and I said, hey, look, this isn't like to undercut you. I just want to know, like, what am I working with? And he's like, that's accurate. That's really good. I guess I'm out of a job, But just look into it. I think it's too early to give you like a bulletproof answer on what you should do to combat this. I don't think it's a combat, I think it's an embrace. And the answer to it is, as much as I always tell you guys, focus on one thing and just do that to the exclusion of all else, I think you're gonna need to start putting a little bit of resource, a tiny bit of resources at least, into your Shopify, which is an off marketplace. If it wants to be WordPress, do WordPress and WooCommerce. I don't care, but Shopify, whatever it is. Start thinking about that branded site. What we talked about last week, or the week before last, was the way to be profitable on Amazon is branded search. So you want people to go to Amazon and search for you by your brand so that you can be profitable and not pay an arm, leg, and a kidney in rising PPC costs, so that you can just break even and be on the top of page one. All that is playing together. So that's one bit of AI that I think we can safely talk about and safely like start strategizing together for and sharing like what's working and not working.
When you go to like, how do you get Gemini's? Like, it's chatgpt.com. What's the Gemini one?
Let me see. I'm gonna look up Google Gemini. The new one. I don't know that one. The new models. Yeah. Yeah, Gemini.google.com.
Gemini, okay.
There's something called physical AI now too that they're integrating into the Amazon. Into the
Physical
robot.
AI.
It's called physical AI. Just saw it.
And what's the name of the video one? I keep forgetting the name, Bruce.
VO3.
Yeah, video.
VEO3.
Yeah, I haven't seen any. I've messed around with the other video AI stuff and everything like that. I looked at 11 Labs. I looked at all this other stuff. Ain't nothing's touching this.
What is it? .com.
Yeah.
It's AI.
Yeah. So Google massively dropped the ball apparently, and showed us a clinic on what not to do with product releases when AI hit. But it looks like they're gonna like thrash everyone on it. But okay, 2 more minutes left in the beginner hour.
AI, right?
Um,
I've seen.
I think that would be a solid takeaway if everybody started focusing on that one.
What did you do? Type in a script and then.
Nothing. Can somebody put the mic near Tom so we can all see what he's saying?
What's that?
Just messing with you. Any other questions for the beginner hour? How to make $1 billion in 1 year? That's something I am not qualified to answer. Hopefully yet. The cockiness in me says yet, but no. $1 billion in 1 year?
Start with 2.
Yeah.
Start with 2?
Yeah.
Start with 2 billion and then use it to make $1 billion?
No, use the lose and then you'll end up with $1 billion.
You
probably don't know what you're doing.
Do what?
Probably don't know what you're doing when you're starting off selling on Amazon. So you start with $2 billion, you'll end up with $1 billion.
How to make $1 billion on Amazon? I don't know. Profit or gross? I mean, I don't know how to do that.
What Tom is saying is start as a multi-billionaire, and when you sell on Amazon, you become just a billionaire.
Yeah.
Thank you for the clarification.
Yeah, no, I don't know. If you told me I have $100 and I need to make, and you gave me a number like,
I had kids.
like if you said I got $100 and I need to be making $100,000 a year in 18 months, man, I could go on right now for the next like 6 hours, barely breathing with like all these different and like, but if you told me on e-commerce, here's $1 billion and you're gonna make $2 billion, it would be much harder for me to do because everything I've done to date, brand-wise or product-wise, kind of came from a bootstrappy place. Like how do I keep the lights on, have gas in my car, can occasionally take somebody I want on a date and run this thing that doesn't implode on itself and scale, which is really a feat, like, to do. And then later on, like as I started stringing together some exits, when you exit a brand, yes, you get a really nice payout, but you have a really nice mountain of debt that you need to pay down, and the IRS and everything, and you're left with something, and you're like, yeah, I could stop, but the lifestyle you'd need to live, I was 30 something, was comfortable, but I'm not really wanting to just be comfortable, you know what I mean? I want a lot more than comfortable. So you're like, let's go all in and do it again. So there's a bit of, it's hard to grow a business from a place of like a scarcity mindset or being afraid to lose. So I don't know. I wouldn't know how to do that. Like I've only known how to come at it from that perspective. And then the agency side of what I do has allowed me to just gather a lot more looks how other people are doing stuff and like deploy a lot more strategies. But if I got $1 billion, what products do I put it in? I'm like, why don't you buy some companies? Yeah, cool. All right, we're gonna get into our topic of the week, which is gonna be preparing for the Craft and Commerce Conference. There's a few people here that are going to the conference. You going or no? Do I para conference? And most of you are not. So I'm going to talk about this a little more generally. So just takeaways for you to take to any conference. This particular conference I've not been to before. I've come close to going a few times before, but something came up. Tom either backed out at the last second, or or there was like another conference that came up, and I've really been trying to pare down the amount of conferences I go to since my kids were born and getting older, just because there's only so much time in the day. But another main reason, and I think this is going to tie into the conference that we're going to now, is that I started paring down these conferences is when I was first scaling my business, and I think most of you here have been doing this for less than 5 years. In that stage, I went to my first conference and everything was new to me. So I started executing on everything that I learned. And then a couple weeks later, I heard about another conference. And I went to that one and I learned a whole bunch of things. I started executing on all those things and opened 3 other businesses off those ideas. And a couple weeks later, no, at that conference, they told me, you're going to Vegas in 2 weeks, right? To the XYZ. I'm like, where do I get the tickets? You gonna be there? And next thing you know, I'm going to conferences twice a month. I can talk more intelligently about everyone than everybody else on the subject in the room, but no execution, no time for execution. Gearing, like the mindset you have to gear up to go into a conference or a trade show, the travel, the reintegrating back into your routine when you get back, it's not the same. Like you lose some time there. And it became what I would say is this like combination of fear of missing out and a waste of time going to all these things. And then I started hearing, but the networking was great. So I was like, oh, that's what I'm supposed to do. I'm supposed to go network, right? So I did that for a few years and no one really shared what was really working. They just overinflated. It's like a fish story, like caught a small fish, it's bigger and bigger, but at the end you would have caught a whale, right? And then you're repeating your same story a million times. I got to a point that I was like, it doesn't help you get ahead. So for many years now, my thing, not the one thing, I don't want to sound cheesy like that, like doing only one thing to me sounds like hell. Like I like doing several different things, but there is an unhealthy balance, and I'd say I'm still on the unhealthy side of it with the amount of, I got over 50 different businesses. Fair, I'm not involved in all of them, but that's unhealthy. You wind up paying most of your attention to the one that's suffering the most in reality, and then you neglect the one that's doing the best, and that's just a really sucky recipe for getting ahead. So what I've been trying for a long time to do when it comes to conferences and a lot of other things is just get really good at saying no to stuff and get really good at figuring out what is the number one priority that is going to move the needle to the best And how can I make sure that I'm putting the majority of my attention towards that? Sounds easy. It's not easy, especially in this environment, because after we break up at the end, we're going to network. And I'm going to be hypocritical here. I'm going to tell you 4 different cool business ideas I heard about. He's going to tell you that. Tom's going to get you hooked on 6 different AIs. And, you know, that's what's going to happen at the end, and we're going to leave like buzzing. Someone's going to create a course on, you know, how to hack the trademark process and put in use versus intent. Like, that's what's going to happen, right? And then we're going to need to be reminded of it again, which is also a good reason why this sort of group exists. So that's what I'm doing here. My goal I've always been a content creator. So when it comes to selling online, private label, starting your own brand, I'm a content first private label seller. Like, that's my differentiator. I have no desire to sell a product, no matter what Helium-10 or Jungle Scout says, unless I can differentiate it and it lends itself very well to creating content. So if you hear all of us talking and you hear that TikTok right now is on fire and you can easily sell products on TikTok, if you sell the little rubber caps on the bottom of these tables that doesn't scratch the floor, good luck in creating some very engaging content on TikTok out of those things, right? So you need to consider in the product selection phase what type of seller you want to be. You want to sell a Me Too product and lose all of your profits in PPC? Or do you want to create something awesome that you like, or super awesome, like Eddie, what you did? You know, add value to the world. I'm not saying you got to go to the extreme of a bazillion patents, but there is a sweet spot in the middle there that you can be to have something that's very profitable, that's in the middle, and that lends itself well to content. As the years have gone on, content has become more and more important, to the point now, for a few years I've been saying, I think it's important that all of our businesses start treating yourselves as almost like a media company. Think about, just pick one, not all mediums, but pick one and let that be the medium that your company is going to get really good at. What are those mediums? And this is going to tie into the conference we're going to. Audio, so podcast, written, blogs. We'll start with blogs, audio. Let's do newsletters, right? It's not a blog, but it's what's required to go into it is different, but it is written. And video. Those are your major ones. The reason they're in that order is when you decide to get into content creation, you're probably going to want to get into the easiest one, which is blogging. Blogging on Amazon is the equivalent of a Me Too product. A lot of competition. Because it's the easiest thing to get into, that's where most people gravitate towards. So if your differentiator for your brand is you're going to create written content and go all in trying to game the Google algorithm, and now hope that you're the one that AI serves up in their AI search results, that's a really, really tall task, or a tall order. Audio is very intimidating. There's some hardware involved. That's why it's next. Talking into a mic and not knowing if it's recording on the other end, and hearing your own voice with your ums and your ahs and whatever is scary, right? So a lot of people run from that. Newsletters. You're going to put out a 3 times weekly newsletter, a daily newsletter. What in the world could you write about every single day for the next 2 years, right? So very intimidating. You don't know how to start. You don't know what software you should use. And then video. It's a combination of audio. You feel like you have a face for radio. I notice a lot of women, I mean, just saying, because I notice from my wife, they feel like they have to put their face on for it. Whereas me, I'll just roll out of bed and turn the video on. You have to pick the one that makes the most sense for your company and the one that's not gonna paralyze you from starting. The conference that's coming up is all about that. It's not just about creating content, and it's not just about selling online. It's a perfect marriage between the two. It's exactly what we've been talking about here for a while. And it's how you can, maybe should, think about creating content or deploying content for your brand in a way that moves the needle and makes you money. So for those of you going to this one, or you apply the same thing to anyone you go to, you say, okay, what is the one thing that would make me going to this conference to be a win? And for this one, you need to know what is the one, or in Tom's case, all of them. What is the one medium that you decide you're going to start creating content in? If you're not going, still pick that. So when we come back with these takeaways, you could say, okay, I'm really convinced I want to go in on this particular medium of content creation. Let me ask all the questions I can of Carlos and Tom and Moises, Andres, Erica, Raul, all of us when we come back. That will allow you to take those next steps. The mistake here was the mistake I used to make at those conferences before. I used to attend every single track. It sounds like I paid for the ticket. I have to attend every single one. And in reality, most of them, they weren't talking about something that advanced my priority in the business. Any questions on that so far? Before I keep going? No? You guys are full of very active today, huh? Let me see. Where we at? I think there's a lot of really cool speakers here, by the way. And Tom, I found a spot where you can go see the speakers easily. If you go to Instagram and you go to Kit,
Yep.
they, like every fourth...
Put the agenda on there or just list it?
Not the agenda, they show new speaker announcement, and you'll see like every third or fourth post, you'll see that.
Okay.
What's really good that I like about this conference, and I also used to get discouraged by this, so maybe this will be a takeaway for everyone. If you don't recognize any of the speakers, that's a good thing, right? If you recognize all of the speakers, that means you recognize them because you probably read their books, you probably already listened to their podcasts, probably listen to their YouTube channel, and that means there's not going to be anything new that they're going to share that you can use. This is not the case at this conference, but I'd recommend, again, before you go, if there's a very clear agenda, or reaching out and knowing who the speakers are, and look them up. Look at the stuff they've done, look at the stuff they've talked about, and kind of curate a content diet for yourself of like the stuff you want to be consuming on the way to the conference, so that you could really bone up on certain areas. Imagine getting an opportunity to talk with this person at a meetup and you ask him a question that he's answered 8 times on his last 8 podcasts, right? That's a monumental waste of time. A lot of these speakers have opportunities to work directly with them. Coaching has been one of the biggest areas for me to grow over the last, over the last 16 years. Areas where I didn't grow as much in my business, or areas where I felt I was too good for coaching. I've really quadrupled down on the coaching aspect over the last year. Some of it's obvious on social media, where I got a fitness coach. So find different areas of your life, get a coach, and create a plan and go all in on it. So in this case, whatever content area you're going to pick, find the people at this conference that specialize in it. Again, your blog, your audio, your newsletter, or YouTube. There's also going to be a lot of course creators at this one, right?
So many times you'll say it's better to delegate services out to other people who are more expert
Yep.
in that field. So what you're saying is try to concentrate on one medium.
Yep. Yeah, absolutely. Definitely try to concentrate on one medium, and that way you could say it removes a lot of the stress when you go to these conferences, because you don't feel the need to go to every single track there and hear every single thing and run all over the place. Just say, I've decided I'm going into audio, right? Just find the ones that are talking about audio. You get to skip everything else. Network when those people are talking. Talk to the vendors when those people are talking. Find out what meetups those people you are following are doing. Go there. There's this, pick one of the nights and hang out with the group. That's cool. That makes sense. We're all going up there as a group. That's a good thing to do. But this is work. Like, if your person that you're trying to follow is hosting a meetup at some steakhouse or whatever, go to that steakhouse. If somebody in the group hasn't found their person, invite them to come with you. But if they don't want to go, you just break off and you go. We can hang out in Miami or wherever somebody's watching this. But like, You going there and you get to bring back that information to the group is a lot more valuable than smoking a cigar with Tom in Boise, Idaho. Right? All right. Another area of this conference that I mentioned, like they're going to have with courses. And this is something that I dropped the ball on big time. Like this would be in my top 3 if somebody said, hey, Carlos, if you could do it all again, what's one thing you'd do differently? This might make number 1. But number 1 is probably going to be don't quit your day job while you start it. That would be my number 1. And that one is that trumps everything. But if it wasn't that one, it would be embrace courses, embrace digital courses. You should pick a product. There's no reason not to do this. You should pick a product that you're going to sell that allows you to create a digital product or course that you can sell and build a list and share your content medium with before your product is released. Too many businesses now are going out of business because of logistics and how expensive everything's getting before they even receive their product. There's no reason not to do that. I developed this, this little pet peeve I had where so many people were failing as sellers and then going into course creation and agencies that I was just like, I refuse to create a course. I ain't gonna be a course creator, right? That was pure ego on my part. It was a massive mistake. There is a way to do both. You just need to tweak your filters for how you go about picking products. Sorry, I'm looking straight at you, Candace, but you're like literally right in front of me.
That's okay.
Okay. At this conference, for example, the person I plan on hiring probably as a coach, and I've been following for years, is a guy named Jay Klaus. And Jay Klaus has a YouTube channel called Creator Science. I subscribe to this person's newsletter. He has something called The Lab I've been part of for a while. The guy's been a course creator since course creation was, I'm not a course creator, he's been a content creator since before it was even remotely cool to do. And he's been very transparent about documenting his process the whole time. I've taken some of his courses over the years. He's got a great podcast that I listen to religiously. He's gonna be there. There's a chance I'll join his creator lab. So it's a very clear goal that I'm going in on this one. On this one, okay, so my top 2 things that I'm looking at for this conference, and they don't have to be yours, is the introduction of the merging of the video and podcast mediums, right? There's like an evolution going on with podcasting right now that I feel like if you don't embrace it, in a year and a half, your podcast is just like only your immediate friends are going to be listening to it. And that is, I think YouTube is going to be the #1 channel for podcasts in about a year and a half. Not Apple Podcasts, not Spotify, not any of that. But it's going to need a video first approach to it. And Candace, you and I jumping on a Zoom call and recording our screens and popping that up on YouTube is not the same as you and I sitting in a room at a table with some appropriately angled, nice, cameras, with prepared questions.
It's true. I listen on my free. I don't know. I'm getting old or what. In my
No,
car.
no way.
In my car, all I do now, I'm just tired of music. I just listen to people sit YouTube together.
Yep.
I enjoy it, but yes.
Yeah, and that process though of prepared questions,
Yeah.
knowing what your listeners want to, or buyers want to hear, the editing process, the reordering of those questions on what it would look good, the packaging of the thumbnail and the title, that's a lot. That's a team. So that's one of the areas I want to really start learning on the more we embrace video. Then there's also, shorts, for those of you that are, crazy about shorts, whether it's Reels, Shorts, TikTok, anything like that. There's going to be a lot of people there that do that. So maybe that's the thing maybe that's your the thing you want to go all in on, you could do that. But the other area for me is, besides the video audio merger I see coming with podcasts, the other thing I'm going to look at, I said it, is courses, and courses specifically for products. So those are my top two areas. I think I'm going to be able to find what I need there to advance things, that I'll be able to bring back. I'm bringing a lot of my team there. The local part of the team is going up there, so we can divide and conquer this thing. But yeah, that's mine. I, for those of you that are going, or if you would have gone, what would be the medium that you would have gone after if you were going? Like Eddie, if you were going to go to the show, is there a content medium that you'd be most interested in? Would it be written? Would it be audio? Would it be video? Video. Right. Cool. Tom?
I'm curious about TikTok actually, because it's gonna show the functionality.
Yeah? Tom, particular area, or are you just gonna like absorb it?
Newsletters.
Huh?
Newsletters.
Newsletters.
Using Kit. Kit's got a great little platform where you can fill up your newsletter, and then you can advertise your newsletter to other newsletters to get your followers.
It's one of the best ones out there.
I think it's a tremendous way to grow a newsletter. So I'm just trying to see what best practices for a newsletter would be.
Yeah, it's the fastest way to grow a newsletter. I took this course a while back called, I think it's Ship 30 and 30, or it's Ship 40 and 40. It's like a $10,000 thing. When I used to do a lot more newsletters, and by Dickie Bush and something Cole, worth every penny.
It's a terrible name.
Yeah, his name was Dickie Bush. That's his name.
Dickie Bush.
And what it did is you had 1 week after taking the course to publish a daily newsletter for 40 days in a row. You could not batch it, and you had to submit it for approval and feedback by X time each day. So it was pretty intense. Think about what would you write about on a specific subject to publish out to a real newsletter, not a fake one, like your list, for 40 days. The thing is, at the end of it, you were really good at writing a newsletter. But they came up with something called a 4A framework. I always forget one of the A's, but it's you pick any topic, and then you can, and this would be good for AI, I guess. You can write about that topic, and well, let me pull it up, because I think this is a really good one for anything to be into content creation. And I was just talking with Moises about it. Let me see. Here we go. Yeah, so you can get any topic, and you can write about it actionably. So that's one of the A's. So like, here's how. Analytical, here are the numbers surrounding that thing. Aspirational, yes you can. And anthropologically, which is here's why. Why this helps, especially with a newsletter, and this is something I've been trying to bring into play, this 4A framework, into our meetups here. It's a hard lift when you approach content.
What's the first A, sorry?
Yeah, it's actionable, like here's how. Analytical, here are the numbers. Aspirational, yes you can. And anthropological, like here's why. So yeah, they came up with it. Ali Abdal later on called it an endless idea generator. I like to think of it more as an endless idea generator, and even though I first heard about it when it comes to email newsletters, and the reason for it is when people can kind of understand batch. Since this conference is content, I'm going to spend a little bit of time talking on content. I think it's really important for our businesses now, but people can kind of understand the importance of, like, let me batch create some content so I'm not always on this content creation hamster wheel. So you want to batch your videos, you want to batch your blogs, you want to batch your audio, all that. What a lot of people don't understand though, if they've not created content, is if you have different content topics or you're reviewing different products or whatever the case may be, there's a cost to that. It's task switching, or I refer to it as attention residue. And let's just use, I know there's a lot of influencers here in the group that do products. If I review that purse, and then I review, let's say, Eddie's blue blocker glasses, and then I review Adam's hoodie, and then I review Tom's cigar case, I need to put in a cost into thinking about or researching the purse. And none of that carries over to the blue blocker glasses. So I got to start from zero again. I re-research, I got to redo everything. And none of that applies to the hoodie, and none of that applies to the cigar case. So it's a whole bunch of starting over from zero, and it makes it a lot more difficult. Your bandwidth's going to run out quicker, and the content's going to suffer. Well, real batching means you should use this 4A framework, because now if I decided I wanted to do something about that purse, I can, the same amount of research that it took me to do that, I can now, once I know what I want to talk about on the purse, I can do an actionable piece, an analytical piece, an aspirational piece, and an anthological piece. The differences between that, it's the same content, but you as the consumer of it won't realize that because it's coming from a totally different direction. And as a content creator now you're really getting into batch recording because you're not paying the task switching cost of creation. Otherwise, everyone's like, I created 10 videos today on X subject, and I look at the videos and I'm like, that looks painful. Like, been there, done that. You could create 30 of them and just come up with 3 actionable, 3 analytical, 3 whatever for 1 bit of effort. So anyhow, I think it's one of the most important things that people miss when it comes to content creation.
Are you saying that your framework is one video with all 4 of the A's in there, or is it 4 videos with an A in each one of them?
Even better. It's the latter, but it's better than that, because when you're actionable, like let's say a topic.
So let's say, well, let's go with you. So,
points.
Amazon, like
Yeah.
selling on Amazon. So you can say, here's how.
Well, yeah, but
Here are the numbers.
here's how to start on Amazon from zero. Here's how to, so you can have 10 here hows
Right.
for that one topic.
Right.
So you could have 40
Yep.
for one. You could do 4 different with 1 of each. The worst kind actually, and the most abrasive for the consumer of the content, but the one people without realizing it tend to go to because they want to make more, is they try to put more than 1 of these in the same piece of content.
I got it.
Right, so it's actually the worst one to do. But even if they try to write the Bible of the subject, or they try to hit this from all areas to sound like they know what they're talking about, but they're hurting themselves because they're boxing themselves into a corner about what do I talk about.
Yeah. I noticed that none of them have like a controversial aspect to it at all. None of your 4 A's do. I mean, is that just
You could, but I would say stop selling on Amazon. That's controversial.
right?
Here's how to stop selling on Amazon if you don't have another income stream yet. And so like you can get a controversial subject and still apply the 4A to it.
So stop using points and miles if you want to pay full price.
Sure, yeah. And then, so it can apply to something controversial, not controversial, it can apply to anything. And it's not to say that everything should run through this. If you're just creating a one-off piece, just do what you do.
Do you find that your content should always have a CTA, or what's your balance with, a call to action with your product? Buy my product, buy my course, buy my this, buy my that. Is it more Gary Vee, jab, like free, no sell?
I think it depends on the medium. I think every newsletter publish should have a CTA.
How about just a piece of content, a short TikTok post?
No. So if it's a short TikTok piece, should not. I'd say the vast majority of them shouldn't have a CTA, if any.
So nothing, so if you were gonna talk about your Amazon influencer course, you would just basically talk about all the reasons why, to be the numbers, et cetera, but you would never have a CTA to go to your course?
No, the short,
I'm just
yeah, there's no right or wrong answer to that, but the short is a short. There's not a great deal of time. And if you add a CTA, you're taking some of that time to give the CTA. The call to action, like to do X. But in reality, I think it makes content creators lazy, because when's the last time somebody told you something of amazing value, it was truly amazing value, that you didn't go look up, I want to know more from this person? So like, if you're delivering on the value, the conversion on them looking for you, that's your CTA, high value.
Okay.
You know, if you need to add that in, I think it takes away, but I bet you we could brainstorm some exceptions to that.
Would you have a link to something, or I think just the fact that they're on your channel anyway and they found you is what they're going to go and discover?
No. What used to take me a long time to answer, I actually learned with you at Kajabi Hero Live, like what I'm going to describe. I've always done this, but this was clear, and it's if it's a short, then say short, but I like to say free, long form, high value content, or just, if it's a short, just say free, valuable content. So free, long form, high value content. It's free though, so you're not selling, so no CTA. But you do want to sell, you run a business. So what medium do you want to sell on? You know, email's best one, hands down, you own it, right? So you want to do it on email, but it's free. So the question you have is, how do I get people from here to my email, but it's free, no CTA? A free lead magnet, a free checklist, a free calculator, a free guide on how to assemble, a free, you know, Slinky Stove has a free guide on this amazing terrain near this RV site, and how to get the best deals on it, or how to get 2 free nights, you know, something like that. And you want to get this guide. So like, it's a free checklist that was put together. Check it out in the show notes, or whatever's appropriate for that medium. So when to get it, they got to download it. And to download it, they got to give an email. And once they get on the email, they're going to be on an email sequence. That sequence should be either, with testing, sending them to your email newsletter, which will have a call to action in it every single time, or a sequence that's going to lead into a sale. Your lead magnet should be very valuable. The best ones, your friends probably tell you, you're an idiot for giving this away for free, or that's way too cheap for what that is. Then you know you're onto something. But it should be specific enough that allows you to segment. So something that says, do you want to make money on Amazon? Sure. Right, they download that. But are they into arbitrage? Are they into wholesale? Are they into private label, Kindle Direct, merch, influencer program? So how do I word my email? So it needs to be specific enough that when they get in there, I'm able to, you guys on the email side are able to say, this person's into X. I could speak to a person that's into X because I know what that's like. Snoring, you know, is it for a husband or the wife? Like, who am I talking to here in this email? That really matters. And that's where you sell. So when you add a call to action in the free side of the content, I think it kind of cheapens it. It kind of makes me feel like, I said, you know, Igor, what do you think? He said, no, Dr. Igor. I was like, if you got to tell me you're a doctor, like, I don't want to call you that. I don't want to deal with you. In the free piece of content, when you stick a CTA, that's that equivalent. Like, you'll get some, and if it's a numbers game and you got massive numbers, then maybe that works for some people. But I don't find it to be effective long term. Yeah. Yeah. You're also going to run into some big obstacles on publishing if you do that. Okay, I got a little passionate there. How are we on time? Any questions so far? I covered a lot. Does anyone feel like their product doesn't apply to content or doesn't fit? Or what would be an example of sourcing for a product that does apply to content? Candace, your product would be great for content.
Yeah, it's funny, when you said that, I was actually just thinking of another place I wanna shoot tomorrow morning.
Nice, that's great, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
that-
I'm just not, like, until everything, I'm not going ham on posting until it's like available. I'm just collecting a bunch of content.
That's great.
Yeah.
Yeah. The fact that you have ideas for content is great.
Oh,
Some people
yeah.
don't have ideas.
Why don't you
Yeah.
create the content and just bank it?
No, because because people buy on impulse.
No, I'm just saying, create it so you have
Oh,
a
I
ready.
Give- give
I
it-
have it, that's what I'm doing.
Give them a
Okay.
quick no again. Give them a quick
Yeah, I love that.
No.
No.
Well, no, I'm just saying, like, it's like, again, but we all know in
Say
life.
no, that's a bad idea, real
What-
quick. Say no, that's a bad idea.
No, well, when you shop and you do things, it's like, people buy on impulse, so I feel like if something's there and someone sees it, it's like, but it's not available, no, you have that window.
But you don't have to do your product, you could do the stuff that's related to your product, but it's just content.
Yeah,
To get you followers, get you people that are starting to, be engaged, this is the best wine to put in those wine glasses, I don't know.
yeah, no, that's true, I agree with that, I'm just, yes.
I got a yes.
Yes. Yes. Yes to both.
We're good on time. What are we gonna cover? So plan your conference ahead of time. Pick the people you want to speak to. I don't think this conference did a very good job at making that public. I don't know if it was strategic because they wanted to run people to Instagram, but they could have at least sent an email saying, newest speaker has been announced on Instagram, if that was the case. So I'm just giving them an F so far on keeping everyone in the loop on who the speakers are going to be. It's a content creation conference. Like, this is an opportunity to kind of teach us. They're an email service provider. Like, why not show it through your email and highlight how good Kit is? So far I give them an F on announcing clear agenda, who's speaking. I can say I've gone in and looked at the speakers though, so I'm willing to forgive the F so far to hear a lot of these speakers.
Do you present or you only present on the cruise?
As far as do I present?
Yeah. Like when at the rich, like at any of these, do you ever do a course?
A lot of the conferences we go to, except PLMA, I'm usually speaking at the event,
Yeah.
if that's what you mean.
Are you speaking at this one?
No, I'm not speaking.
Why
I
not?
would, if the event goes good, like I think it's going to be, this is the type of event that I'd put on my list of like, I'd like to get on the radar here to speak at this event.
Is this your first time going to this one? That's
It's
why
my
you're
first
not-
time going,
Oh,
and it's
okay.
my third time wanting to go since I heard about it. The last two I
okay.
couldn't make it because of conflicts.
Got it.
Yeah. This is the type of event that I'd want to speak about because it's one of these things that they're like, if I got an opportunity to speak, I wouldn't even have to prepare. Like,
Yeah.
this is what I do. And I've been doing it a long time. So like, yeah, but no. Traffic and conversion is one that I wanted to speak at, and that's never going to happen because it's no longer around anymore. Social media marketing world, I got close, and then I think I could have got in like the next year, and then COVID hit, and then it just took a dive.
It's coming back now, though. I think it's getting a little better now.
Well, it can't get worse.
I think now that you're seeing UGC come back out again, I think it's getting a lift with influencers coming back into the
It became pure NFT for 1 year and pure like Bitcoin for another year, and it was just like, it used to be a great podcast as well. Social Media Marketing World podcast used to be really good. So I'll give him an F for that. I'll be speaking to Jay Klaus a bunch. When we get back from the conference, I'm gonna share it with everyone. For those of you that have not traveled with us to a conference, we started doing this, I think around 2019. And we have a Telegram chat, which is for trade show and conferences, which you're welcome to join whether you're going on this one or not. But we'll kind of share notes within the group chat throughout as to like, so-and-so sucks, this person's great, he's giving away a deal, get in here, like all that stuff. And then some of us, Stefano is actually really good at it. And it's kind of like, here are my takeaways from the day. So it helps you write that stuff out, helps other people that attended see it. I'll be looking at this with a lens of like how to apply this to products. So yeah, really excited. I actually thought you guys would have a lot more questions, but that's pretty much what I had. Any other questions Amazon related? Anybody from the stream? Oh, Adam left. You can get 3 TikTok shop, 1 LLC, yeah. 5 TikTok shop, you can do 5. Yeah, 5 TikTok shops, 1 LLC, as of now.
Same phone, same file.
Same phone, no, not a same phone number.
I think you can do 2 on the same phone. I think it's 2.
Yeah.
But you can get cell phone numbers to put on your phone.
Yeah,
So you can get up to, I think there's a couple of different plans. There's one you can get 5 and 10 phones on, so you're not switching between phones
right.
to log into them.
Yeah, we don't have any of the same phone numbers on them, and I think the reason we don't is because we couldn't. But it can be under one business. We've not maxed 5 out, but we've been told it's 5, and I think we have 2 or 3 on some of them. Yeah, but that's gonna happen anyway. Yeah, if you do something wrong on one, they will shut down all the ones associated with that number. Some of the accounts we have, and that's the only reason we haven't maxed out 5 on different businesses, is we've been testing some stuff that's definitely black hat on some other businesses. And we know that if that gets hit, that it's gonna hit the other ones. And we have the other ones shielded so that they can't be recognized. But if you're not shielding them, then they could all go down.
So I don't get notice on Instagram when there's somebody following me. Maybe I should ask Tom. Well, Tom would know.
Right, but you'd still, if you have them under the same IP, if you have them under the same MAC ID and the same IP, doesn't matter if they're different LLCs, they're all gonna get shut down. Yeah.
I'd recommend that you get a new Instagram or TikTok or YouTube channel. That's your research channel. So don't set up a new YouTube channel right now and only populate it with things that you're actually researching. So either your competition comes up or your courses come up, because your YouTube channel right now has got I repaired my sink, I looked at a Mr. Beast thing, I looked at this thing over here. So the algorithm is feeding you all kinds of stuff. Maybe it's the different highlights of sports or something you watched. So get a separate YouTube account and feed it full of wine or wine glasses or whatever it is in your category, or outside camping, or materials to use, and let that algorithm work to your favor and feed you the stuff that you're researching that you want to look at. And it's kind of a way of spying, not necessarily on your competitor, but spying on your industry and the category you're trying to get in.
Yeah,
Say that one more time.
absolutely.
No. She asked me if I could say it again. I said no.
Yeah, we got
Get a research channel.
some updates on some of the stuff we've been doing TikTok-wise here at the group. We brought on another full-time team member for our TikTok. For anyone that's coming through, you might see her a little bit on Saturdays. I don't know, but her name's Mari Trujillo. So we'll at least be doubling the amount of TikTok tests that we do content-wise, which at the end of the day is just going to bring in more data. This particular one is very focused on the fitness niche, which I thought would be good since supplements in the TikTok shops have the highest profit margins. And one of the areas I'm focusing on right now is, and I know it's going to be important for a lot of you that are just approaching this from the creator side, for I just want to make some money from it, and I really don't care what I'm creating, is a really clear strategy on here are the things that you should do in a video that will allow you to make TikTok commissions. So Madi's going to be focusing a lot on that this week. We also brought somebody on, which I'm hoping will go full-time soon, named Melanie, who's going to be approaching it from the editing side of TikTok videos. So she's going to be going all in on CapCut. And she's not an expert video editor, which to me makes sense. I don't want to bring on a TikTok video editor right now. They're very expensive. But also, as we create this course, that's more of I'm calling it a course, but we're probably going to try to model the your first dollar strategy. So we're talking about a nominal amount. It's more of a structured way that will allow me to set up a lot of brand deals and stuff for people here in the group. And the more you peel back the onion on your first dollar, the more a lot starts making sense. on why it's set up that way. But I know the commissions are going to be important for you guys when you're doing it. Brand deals are great, you can get them quicker, but you see the screenshots of everybody like $20,000. I got that many people to buy my thing. So far, we've gotten an 800 and a 300 worth on 2 different accounts, which is $1,100 pretty much more than we were getting before. But I'm hoping with Madi that we're going to be able to crack that a lot quicker, coming at it from the fitness niche. What else? We start working on that actually. Erica and I, over the next 6 weeks. It looks like we're going. I'll send it out to you guys so you can give me some feedback. But we look like we're doing the creator blueprint or something like something.
Is that the name of the app? The whole thing?
It's something. It's three words, but it's something. It's creator blueprint, and let me look it up, 'cause I'd really love your guys' feedback on it. What's going on here? Erica was working at it. I'm pretty impressed with it.
You sure you're okay to put that on the stream?
I'm okay. Yeah, I'm good. It'll just verify that I'm onto something.
Tom, do you know where to see who's following you on Amazon? But I don't see any followers or something.
The creator blueprint.
It's good. I like it.
Yeah. Yeah, the creator blueprint.
I don't see views, but I don't see any followers. And he's like, oh, my wife follows you. I'm like, I don't see anything.
Let me see if it lets me.
Okay.
Maybe deep down in the channel, I don't know.
I'll chat GPT.
How many videos do you have?
95.
Will it let me do it? No, it's not letting me do it. Okay. But yeah, the creator blueprint.
Really?
With Melanie. Melanie's going to be doing TikTok editing. And again, for the creator blueprint stuff that we'll put out, that's obviously going to be something you're going to want to know how to do. So Melanie will be able to teach that when you want to do it. Otherwise, what we realized when we were testing this out, for those of you that want to be in the creator program, is
Hold on, wait.
it's very easy to get some brand deals. But these brand deals are going to want to pay you an amount of money for you to do 15 to 30 videos per month. And you're going to celebrate getting 3 quick brand deals. And then you're going to hate your life that you're on the hook for the creation of 90 videos.
Yeah.
And you're like, wait a minute. I thought this was a side hustle. I thought this was a lucrative side hustle, right? So one of the big problems with those 90 videos is the editing for them. So we're trying to put together something. We got a few CapCut courses. We got a few courses on creating great video with cell phones. That will be tearing apart over the next few weeks and trying to put into something that's like a much more digestible format for everybody here in the group. But yeah, that's what I had. Those are some updates from some stuff that we're doing. I hope to be introducing you guys to Madi and Melanie over the next week or 2. But if you ever pop through during the week, you'll see them. That's all I had. If there's no other questions, we'll wrap up. So we won't just like.
I got a good product for you to share with people that they can actually put on.
Is it a Slinky stove?
No. Why is it not copying this?
Tell me what it is. I'll pull it up.
1 second. Here, I just sent you it in WhatsApp. It's an Amazon link. And I'll send you this.
You want me to open WhatsApp?
Yep. There's a link in WhatsApp.
Okie dokie.
So.
Oh my God.
That product is
Is that a cleaner? Is that like
it's a mop on the front. Now check this out. If you go to your.
Oh my God.
I'm trying to send this to you too. This lady has 17 million views on her TikTok.
What is it? The kid deciding to go downstairs on this thing?
No, it's the mom driving it around the kitchen floor.
The mom.
So the mom's driving around the kitchen floor like Speed Racer, and she's got an affiliate link to it.
Oh my God.
Wow.
sent it to you in, yeah, I sent it to you on your phone.
My kids love sitting around the house riding this go-kart.
Oh my God.
Is that hysterical? I just bought it for Lisa.
That thing went a lot faster than I thought it was gonna go.
It's got some giddy. So that's a TikTokable thing. Look how fast that is.
It's a little too fast.
I think the other product I have is a drywall repair kit too, because that's going to be running into a lot of drywalls.
What's the one, I just threw mine away because I decided not to go ahead and do it, but when I was throwing it away, it made me think of the Slinky stove actually. Do you remember the packaging? That was like the funny packaging. That was like your kid's first fire, or
What was
that?
it was the boxes that go outside of a
Yeah.
funny, what is it? Funny packaging.
Your kid's first
So
fire.
this is like gag gift packaging, I think, right?
Gag
So
packaging.
Shark Survival Kit, Prank Original, Prank Gift Box.
Oh yeah, here it is. Yeah, you see, I bought it before. It was, oh man, it's been 2023 since I got it. You got to check this brand out. This is hilarious. I just couldn't find the numbers on it. So what this is this is just a box and it's flat when you get it. But you pop it open and say you want to gift somebody a shirt, or you want to gift your nephew a pair of Crocs. You buy one of these boxes and maybe you put the Crocs inside and you close the box and then you wrap it and somebody opens it. It's like a double gift. You know, you laugh and, no, but that's nothing. Look at the other ones. Let me see.
You can do a slinky.
Bath and brew. So like your coffee comes out of the shower head.
You can do a slinky stove kids edition.
Bicycle seat belt. Oh, I don't know. That actually looks cool, but the muffler, exhaust barbecue grill, cargo socks, cheese printer, extreme chores. Where was it? This isn't my. No, but where's the one? This, I liked this one a lot. But look at the detail these people went into.
You actually bought it.
Oh yeah, I bought almost all of them. I was considering, like, at one point looking at the numbers and everything, I'm like, wait a minute, you know, printing it out and everything, but again, it doesn't matter. It really goes against everything that I do for products. It's not my thing, and I absolutely hate $9.99 on Amazon. Like, that is terrifying. You know, your cost of goods, say it's like $3 landed to FBA. Spend a couple bucks in ads and you're, yeah, I'm just, oh, this is good. I like this one. 12,000 piece jigsaw puzzle.
And then once you're
Can you imagine?
your company, open up a company Walmart.
Liquor vest. I thought that was a cool idea. I didn't even think that was a gag. I thought that was pretty cool.
You need to buy every day.
No, where is the one?
Your,
No.
anything you're just, anything.
No.
Right.
Whatever, just send me a photo link to your business. And the business is gonna buy it. And you're gonna get.
Oh no, some of them are missing. But there was another one that was,
So your affiliate person, gonna put you on the radar.
it was like a stack of needles. It was a whole bunch of like needles and stuff like that. And instead of like needle in a haystack, it was like something in a needle stack. That was, I don't know, I liked it a lot. Why no? That's what I had.
Open up the company Walmart account.
If there's no other questions, we'll wrap it up. About 30 minutes early, but we'll do it. Remember, next week, next Saturday, there is not a meetup here because we're going to be in Boise, Idaho. And there also, for those of you that are in the advanced breakfast, there's obviously no breakfast tomorrow because we leave early Wednesday morning. but we'll be back to our regular schedule of stuff starting the following week. Happy Father's Day in advance to everybody, since I won't see you there. I say Happy Father's Day to the top of my lungs. I yell it to Tom in the airport, so I'll be able to say it there, right? Nothing like seeing Tom blush at an airport when I'm like, Dad, wait for me. Yeah, thank you guys.
Line up for these, sir. Anything else? Yeah, I think that is.
Oh, we got a question. Carlos, be careful with Kavas. People start to speak Russian after a few. It says, be careful with Kavas. Look. It says, Carlos, be careful with Kavas. People start speaking Russian after a few cups. That was good. That was good. All right. Yeah, we could just stay here, hang out, and network a little bit, everyone. So no need to leave if you want to hang out.